Well, happy day to everybody and welcome. This is Dr. Hank, and this is Agent Wealth Network, where you know what we do. We help you, agents, real estate agents, and brokers to increase your business and your wealth. And today we have what I consider the king of Facebook, a man that has years of experience in real estate, generates thousands of leads regularly on Facebook, real estate leads, and then knows how to convert them. And let me introduce you to Mr. Jonathan Fowler. Johnny, how are you?
I'm doing great, Dr. Hank. How are you? How could I be anything but great? I'm on being recorded with the happiest man on earth.
Oh, that's great. I love that, Johnny. And one thing I also to start out with to say is you're also a dear friend of mine, and I have just loved the times that we have shared. And Johnny and I travel the United States together and help agents to again increase their business and their wealth. And so I think I'd like to start out with could you tell us a little about, you're just this king of known as the king of Facebook and travel all over the United States. You travel more than anybody else I know in real estate, in fact. And to share the good news about Facebook. And can you tell me a little about Facebook and why is it so important for us to be able to generate leads on Facebook?
Yes, sir, I can. You are correct. I travel about 40 weeks out of the year.
Wow.
I absolutely love our industry. It's something that is so important to me. And I want to not only keep it going, I want to make it better every single day.
Awesome.
You asked about Facebook. And I will tell you, I start off almost every class that I do across the nation for the past 2 or 3 years that I've been doing this with this one simple stat. 240 million people a day in this country spend 4.5 to 5 hours a day on Facebook. So
Wow.
where is your customer?
Yeah, so that's why you do Facebook, because you got to go to where the people are, and the world has changed. And basically, more people are on Facebook really than any place, right? I mean, 240 million Americans are on Facebook. And so tell me about, so how do you get leads or tell me about the secrets of Facebook, because here's my experience is when I put something on Facebook, I get, maybe 10 likes or something if I'm lucky. I put my dog on Facebook, a picture of my dog. Oh, it whoops me every time. Over 100 likes, on my dog. And so how do I get like the consumer, involved with me? And so what are the secrets in order to really start getting, more views, if you will, more likes, more views by the consumer on Facebook?
Well, I think you hit the nail right on the head. There's a couple things that you need to remember. Very few people care about your business. Nobody woke up this morning and said, God, I hope Coca-Cola makes it today. It just didn't happen. Maybe the president, CEO, but other than that, nobody else really did. But
Yeah.
People care about you, and they care about being enriched. They care about being educated, and they care about the information that you have to share. We're in a do-it-yourself world, and we're in a reality television world. And that's what people like. And you hit it right on the head when you said your dog will get much more traction than you will. What the number one thing that people look for and like and share and emote on is kittens. They don't care about your business or anything else. So we go out and we teach the whip effect and we teach things like that. Now,
Yeah.
These are not things that I came up with on my own. I actually have a coach that's right down the road from you in Dallas, Texas. His name is Ryan Stuman. He's known as the hardcore closer. And be careful if anybody goes to that website because he is very alpha personality. But I've been with him for a little over 4 years now. He's the one who taught me Facebook, how to use it, and I continue to learn and grow and grasp of what's going on. Not only with what the consumer wants, but you also have to play with Facebook inside of their ecosystem to not make them mad, to keep them happy. You've got to know what affinity is. You have to know what weighting is. You have to know what time in the box is. You have to know what time decay is. And those are things that I go around the country teaching so people can do better business with their Facebook.
I see, I see. And so, are there good times of the day then? And how does that all work? That how can I get more likes? How can I get the consumer, if you will, to start seeing more of me?
That's a perfect question. That's one of the big things that we go out and we teach people is you have to kind of remember, and it's very difficult for some people because we're caught up in the same stream that everyone else is. But you have to put yourself in the place of the typical U.S. worker, typical U.S. Employee. So they wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. They have their coffee at 5:30, 6 in the morning. So don't mess with them at that point in time unless you want them to talk to you at that point in time. So we've got a little graph, and I can share it with you, and it tells you when the peak times to talk to people, when not to talk to people. So just for you, if you're going to do this, post a picture of your dog, and anytime that I give you is on the clock, the time zone that you're in.
Right.
So if you want to post a picture of your dog and get the most interaction, most people are getting on Facebook approximately 7 a.m. But by the time about 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m. comes along, they start getting off. They're either driving into the office, they're sitting at their desk, they're preparing for the day. And then the next spike that you have in time is about 10:30 in the morning. People are deciding where they're going to go to lunch, who they're going to go to lunch with, what else everybody else in the world is doing at that point in time. You don't want to post a whole lot between 10:30 and noon. People are getting ready. They're actually leaving.
Yeah.
At noon, they're back on, believe it or not. They're sitting at their desk on their device. They're sitting at the coffee shop. They're sitting at the restaurant, and that's when they're back on. After lunch, you don't want to really post anything after about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's going to fall on deaf ears.
Yeah.
And then it starts happening again about 2:30 or 3. It'll pick up. And then it picks up really well until about 4:30 or 5. And then it starts dropping off a tremendous amount at that point in time. Think about it as everybody's on their afternoon commute. They're leaving the office. They've got to make their runs, things like that. They've got to get home. They start getting back on about 6:30. The spike is around 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Is that the biggest spike? Is that the biggest spike of the day?
And it also depends on what your customers. You're in the real estate business. So your greatest times to post, to let people know what you do, is in that mid-morning time and that late afternoon, early evening time, because that's when we pay more attention to what people are saying.
I'll be done.
We want to look at funny things. We want to laugh. We want to be enriched. We want to start our day off. Sort of like guys like you have the morning motivational. That's what we need as consumers. We need that. I don't want to wake up and see the news and see all the horrible things that are going on in the world. What I want Dr. Hank's morning motivational to get me going. I mean, right now, the hair's standing up on my arms because I know that I can rely on that every morning.
Right. That's awesome. And then how is the content like? I'm thinking about going to buy a kitten, by the way. But how much is it personal? And then how much do I tell them about, gee, I'm in real estate?
Great question. I get this one all the time. So we use a system called the whip effect, and it's basically throwing something out there and bringing it back. So people don't want to know too much about you. They don't want, and I hope this makes it on the cut, but we as salespeople, there's a term for it. We call it throwing up on people. I'm in the mortgage business, and I can do an FHA, and I can do a USDA, and I can do a VA, and we throw up on people, and people really don't want that. All they want to know is that I can take care of them. So using the whip effect, we're going to use 3 to 4 pieces of information when we post that is enriching somebody else's life, not necessarily our own. So what I want to do is, let's say I'm I'm going to put myself as a realtor. Is that okay for this scenario?
Sure.
So if I was smart enough to be a realtor, which I'm not, then I would put a post out on Monday morning when people are getting ready that was motivational. And I would say something about, you've got this. Get out there today, conquer this day. Don't let anybody stand in your way. Something that's inspiring, that's going to fire people up. So then what happens is people will pay attention to that. I helped them, whether they realized it or not. I helped them. I fired them up a little bit.
Yeah, cool.
Then my next post would probably be something on letting them know what's going on in their area. So let's say I was in Dallas, Texas, and let's say this weekend was the state fair. I would give them information, not only that the state fair is this weekend, but I would probably give them information. Here's a secret shortcut to get to the state fair and the cheapest parking areas that there are in town. Something along those lines.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give 3 to 4 pieces of information that helps somebody else, that enriches somebody else's life. And it may be educational, it may be humorous, it may be the picture of your future cat. But then on that 4th and 5th time, I'm going to let people know what it is that I do for a living, but I'm not going to throw up on them.
Yeah.
I am going to let them know that I'm getting ready to go to a closing, that I was able to get a single mom, I was able to get a veteran, I was able to get somebody into their move-up house, whatever that is, and I'm going to let people know. One of the things when I go across this country and I'm teaching this class, I always ask realtors, and this is a funny one, who has ever had someone that is a friend or family member either buy or sell a house from a different real estate agent other than yourself? And all of them kind of do this. And then I ask them, let me guess. They always say, are you still doing that real estate thing that you were doing? And I kind of explain, that's kind of our fault as the communicator to let people know what it is that we do.
Right.
So I hope
beautiful.
I
love that. So and so am I posting then every day like 4 times?
That's really up to you, and it depends on what your audience is. So you've got to go back a little bit farther than that. So one of the number one things that you have to do, Facebook was put on this earth, even back in its collegiate days, for people to communicate and be friends with each other.
Yes.
And if you remember, it was college to college. So you may not even know the person. If you went to Yale, you may not even know the person at Stanford, but it was made to help people enrich each other. So one of the things you need to do on Facebook is you have to get your friend count up to at least 1,500. I personally carry 5,000 friends on Facebook at any given time. Yeah. Do I truly know these people? Probably not. But it's people most likely in my business, people who have the same likes and interests that I do. It's our audience that we build. So one of the first things you have to do is start getting to that point. And it's really easy to find these people because, especially, I'm going to use a real estate company. Let's say so EXP Realty. So I think EXP Realty has hit 11,000 agents here this past week. It was another one of their goals. So if I know that there are 11,000 or 10,999 other people just like me, and I'm an EXP agent that's out there, then I'm probably going to friend people that are in the same industry that I am, and that's perfectly acceptable to friend other real estate agents, and begin that information. There's a trick with Facebook that Facebook only allows you to talk to a certain amount of people, no matter how many friends you have.
Oh, okay.
So the more friends you have, the more people you actually get to talk to.
Okay.
So,
now, is there a limit of the number of friends you can have? Is that 5,000 yet?
On a personal page, 5,000's it. You can have as many followers, and it's almost the same thing as being friends. but they limited it at 5,000 friends, and then everybody else is following.
And when I send out um, a message then to them, that a post, how many people then is that going to? Is that going to all 5,000 of them?
No, sir, not at all.
Okay.
What it does is it goes out to the basic buildup of the audience is it's going out to 50 people when you put it out there. Now, here's some of the algorithm issues. So one of the things it does is it's going to go out to your family no matter what, because that's what Facebook was built on, was that communication. So if you have a tremendous amount of family on your Facebook, you have to counteract that with friends also.
Okay.
Now, when it goes out to the other people who were friends, it's going to go out to, and here's the basic rundown of it, whoever you've made friends with here lately, they're going to see your next 5 posts no matter what.
Oh.
So if you've made 5 friends, out of that 50 that it's going to, approximately 5 of them are going to your family, 5 of them are going to the people you've made friends with. That leaves us with 40 people that are actually going to have the potential to see it the first time. Now, how does it pick those 40? Those 40 are built up of the people that we've interacted with the most.
Okay.
So if you and I talk on Facebook continuously, if I like, share, comment, send you instant messages on Facebook, then you and I are both in each other's 50. So we're going to see each other's information. Now, the reason I tell you this is very, very important. So if I was a real estate agent and I wanted to be in front of my customers, then I would make sure that I was talking to and interacting in Facebook groups and with individuals, and we teach this in our class, that are outside of that sphere of my work partners.
Okay, got it. So how do I then go to, like you have, you'll have 500 likes on your that. So how does that happen? Like, how do you get to the point where you are? Again, I'm happy if I get 10, my dog gets 100, you get 500. And I know you're better looking than me, but it's got to be more than just looks.
Well, first of all, I appreciate that because I think it's the other way around. And other than my wife and my mother, nobody else would probably agree with you.
I love your wife, by the way.
Oh, God, she adores you. She adores you. When you called and sang happy birthday to her on her birthday, she carries that with her every day of her life. And no matter what, she asks about you weekly. How is Dr. Hank? That meant more to her than the Corvette that I bought her for her birthday, I promise you.
Man, and mine was free. So that's just coming from the heart. Thank you.
So interaction. So there's a number of things to get the interaction up. And there's a couple tricks to where you can kind of hack the algorithm. But the main thing is having a large audience. The largest audience that you can put together. If it was me and I had less than 5,000 friends on Facebook, I would start making 5,000 friends. Start working towards that. You've got to be careful. Start off with making 10 or 20 a day kind of thing till you build up. But it's also knowing when and what times, and then also giving somebody something of value. If you'll notice, I spend half my life either on an airplane or at Hilton hotels.
You got a lot of points too.
Or in front of real estate agents. So one of the things that I'm known for and that people either love or hate, and I could care less, they both mean the same thing to me almost, is I put my airplane antics on Facebook. Now, this is one of the tricks that I can do that it doesn't matter what time of day, unless it's very late at night, I can put it on and people who follow me will see it. I'll give you a prime example. I think it was last Friday. I was coming home from Palm Coast, Florida, flying out of Orlando, and sitting next to me in seat 1A was Paige, WWE superstar, female wrestler.
I saw it.
Within a very short period of time, I don't remember, but I ended up with a couple hundred emotes, 100 plus, 200 plus, in a very short period of time, comments, things like that. And what's funny, this one just gets me, is I did the same thing with Marcus Luttrell, and for some reason I got more content out of Paige than I did Marcus Luttrell. She's a wonderful lady. I absolutely adore her. She's a wonderful lady. But it's doing what you're known for. So for you, next time you get up in front of an audience of realtors, no matter if it's when you do your little intimate classes with 5 or when you do your things like we do with hundreds, right, that's something that if I was you, I would do. Go in and let people know. People, regardless whether they can make it there or not, want to know that there's a guy like Dr. Hank. I mean, if from the outside looking in, this guy works because he wants to work. This guy works because he wants to help the industry. He doesn't need to. He's got an incredible story to tell people, and I want to know what it is. I want to know what's going on in the life of Dr. Hank. You know, if you think about it from that perspective, somebody may be sitting in their office. Even worse than that, somebody could be sitting at a real estate company that's got 1970s technology, no CRM, barely has internet, and they're having to work phone duty. Right. People still do that. Still do that. Can't believe it. That this may be happening with them, and all they need is that little spark from Dr. Hank to show that he's out there teaching this class, that he's teaching realtors and helping realtors make themselves better.
Now, I saw what you did. Every live, I think, or from what I've seen, is you actually do a video on Facebook. And so, and you take it of you and then the audience and everybody's waving and, it's a great time. Is that more effective, that video on Facebook, than just doing a post?
Live video is the number one thing that Facebook wants you to do. They promote it. When we're taught to read from upper left to right. There's a reason why Facebook Live icon is in the top left. They want you to use this. This is something that they promote. The reason I do those videos is people are scared to death to go on video. I truly was. People are scared to death to go on video. So what I do is I break that ice. So I've got this little trick, and if people are watching this now, you'll know what my trick is. So when I'm teaching the class and I start teaching about Facebook Live video, I look at the room as I'm talking, and I may not look like it, but I'm looking at the room, and I start asking about Facebook Live video. And as soon as you see that agent start sinking in the chair, as soon as you see that agent shaking their head no, as soon as they start talking to other people around them and whispering, never do that. That's my target. I'm going to find that person. I'm going to make that person go on Facebook Live with me so they're more comfortable in hopes. Yeah. And I'm going to make them realize that people love you no matter what. We get this sense, we worry about, is our hair okay? Well, right. I can answer the question. Is my makeup on correct? I can answer that question. Right. We worry about what people think, but people love us no matter what, no matter where we go.
Love
them. But people don't like us also. And those people, we want them to watch also. It's something not to be afraid of. And Facebook is telling you, I want you to use this feature, so use this feature. Let me give you.
How many people go? Does that just go to 52 if I do the video?
Oh, my God. Thank you. That's a great question. So, no, it doesn't. So because I've got 5,000 friends, and because when I do, and you need to do Facebook Live video correctly, you need to set it up. As you're setting it up, tag where you're at, the location that you're sitting at. Okay. You need to tag your friends. Now, there's a difference between tagging and spamming. So what you don't want to do is tag somebody who doesn't want you to tag them in the video. But anybody that you work with, where you're at, any of that, you do want to tag those people. So what happens is, as soon as I go live, Facebook is promoting me. They're
Oh,
actually being the Don King of the internet, and they're out promoting me not only to my audience,
yeah.
but if I tag you, they're going to promote me and you
Oh my gosh.
to your audience.
Uh-huh.
And there comes a point to where yes, you can tag too many people,
Yeah.
but I would tag somewhere between 5 and 20
Okay.
when you
Okay.
go live and let people know what it is. Give them a description
Yeah.
because if you don't want them to turn it on and immediately turn it off, anything like that, you
Uh-huh.
want them to watch when it's live. It helps with getting that message out there and it helps with your audience.
So this would be a great time, like if I'm at, I have a listing, an open house at my listing that I would then do a video and like say, hey, everybody, just wanted to let you know what I'm doing right now that I got an open house here. Is that a way to incorporate, hey, here I am, a human being, and this is kind of what I'm doing, but at the same time, this is my industry and what I'm doing and getting people to come?
That's a wonderful, great time to go live as
Okay.
long as you're going live at the right time
Yep.
of day.
Uh-huh.
And if it was me and if I was smart enough to be a realtor, I would do that on any listing appointment. If I got the listing, I would
Uh,
do that right before I did an open house. We know that the greater majority of people, not everyone, but the greater majority of people look
yeah.
at houses on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Right.
So if I was a realtor, I would probably do a live video on Wednesday right before I was doing the open house on Saturday,
Okay.
and then or Thursday.
Uh-huh.
And then as I was pulling up to the house, as I was doing all of the crazy things, see, one thing that we don't realize and we just take for granted is that the people who walk into that open house basically think that it miraculously just got set up.
Right.
Nobody ever pays attention to the open house signs that you put on the street that
Right.
fall down that you got to go back and forth 3 times to set back up. The
You know.
cheese tray that you forgot to get that you got to run back and get.
Yeah.
Those are the things that are enriching, that are comical, that will
Yeah.
make people laugh, that will make them realize what it is, and it will make them realize that you're real.
Yeah.
So those are just some tips I would do.
And Johnny, that's one of the many things that I love about you is how authentic you are, and just not right now, but when you're on these videos, you're just who you are, and so it's not, trying to be anything that you are who you are, and people like that. People like authentic, and I love the way that you care about others. You want to give others value like that. That just is so impressive. Is there anything else? And again, because of time, I want to make sure that are there any other thoughts that you have that could really help us to get more leads and then maybe talk a little about when you get the lead, how to convert them into a client?
Yes, sir. So there's a number of ways to get leads off of Facebook. One of the number one things that I would do, I'll just give this tip out. If I was a realtor, there are 20 million groups in Facebook. 20 million individual groups in Facebook. So what does that mean to me as a realtor? My customer is inside of one of those groups. So I'll give you a couple little examples that I've heard here lately. I had a real estate agent tell me that they wanted to up their game, that they wanted to start listing and selling a larger sale point than what they were doing. So one of the things that I gave to her was, what price point do you want to be at? And she told me, and I said, then one of the things that I would do if I was you is I would think about any of the people that buy those houses and what they do for a living and what they do for hobbies. And I would see if any of those match up with things that I do. Now, here, I'll give you an example. She wanted to do extremely high-end clients. I asked her, tell me some of your hobbies. What do you do? And one of the things that she liked, and this just set well with me, was she and her husband loved higher end automobiles, which set well with me because I do too. So what I told her that I would do if I was her is I would start joining groups that had something to do with high end automobiles. If she wanted to sell $1 million properties, I would probably hang out in the Ferrari groups, the Lamborghini groups, the AMG Mercedes, the BMW. in those groups, especially if she has a desire to work with those people, if she has a desire, if she has, which she did, has that type of automobile herself, things like that, that will put her in a higher bracket of buying and
Sure.
selling homes.
Boy,
And then
that's tremendous.
when you get in that group, you have to be very careful. You don't want to go in there a bull in the china cabinet. You want to gain the social recognition. So you want to ask questions. You want to help people. When people ask, hey, what's the best European mechanic, things like that, you've got to interact. You can't just go in and expect to get business, the minute you get in there.
Right.
Another thing I want to leave you with real quick. One of the things that I would do if I was a realtor and I wanted business right now today, this very moment, and this is something if people are watching right now, they can actually get business today. They can get a listing or a sale right now.
Wow.
Anywhere across the country, if they go into here down south where we're at, we call it buy, borrow, or what is it? Buy, sell, and barter, I think, is most of the groups. I think in Florida they call them swip swap, but any of the basic online garage sale groups that you see on Facebook. Now go through and start scanning any of those groups. When you see someone put a house up for sale by owner, that's something that you can work on right now. But don't attack them. Don't tell anybody why you're the best for sale by owner realtor or anything else. Look at their pictures. Look at their wording. Help them out. Give them suggestions. Give them compliments. If their pictures are horrible, then I would come back in if I was a realtor and say, your house looks great. It looks like it's priced a little low. If I was you, I would take my iPhone 7 or higher, take pictures about 5:30 in the evening where the sun's not directly on it, it's not washed out. This is what I would do. You're bridging that gap. You're helping this person. You're giving them something of value. You're not out there saying, I can sell your house faster than you can or anything else.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, one other thing to look for in those groups, if somebody is in those groups and they make mention of house full of furniture for sale, everything must go, anything along these lines, there's something going on in that home. Most likely there's either a sale getting ready to happen, there's a buy, there's a move, there's something getting ready to happen.
Yes.
And that's something where I would start bridging that gap and finding out who and what and where, but do it on a human aspect, not on a sales aspect. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's just the way to do it. I love that, the human aspect. It's so great. I think I remember you sharing another secret of yours, a tip, if you will, and I think it was on Twitter. What do you do on Twitter? Could you just share, and I know, again, you're the king of Facebook, but you're really the king of the social media, and could you just share that before we close it up here, that what can I do on Twitter to get business right away?
The first thing you can do is sign up for Twitter. If you're not signed up for Twitter, sign up for Twitter right now. You'll find out that there's a tremendous amount of agents that aren't signed up for Twitter. One of the things that you can do right now today and get business today, and this actually works for almost any industry. I've got a guy down in Palm Coast, Florida that we were doing this with, and I showed him this trick. He owns a seamless gutter and screened-in patio company.
Oh, cool.
And he actually had to leave my class because he got 2 appointments off of doing this trick, besides what realtors get. So go into your Twitter, and I'm going to put this up, and hopefully it'll show. If not, edit it out.
Okay.
So go into your Twitter, and on the bottom second from the left is a little spyglass.
Yeah.
It's search. Up at the top search bar, I would put things like, let's see. Are you in Dallas, Dr. Hank?
Yes, I'm actually in Dallas.
So I'm going to put moving to Dallas in my search bar, and I'm going to hit search. So the first thing that happens now with Twitter, there's a difference. everybody can basically see everybody. So you don't have to be friends. You don't
Oh,
have to follow each other, but everybody can see everybody. So this gives us a little chance to make new friends,
wow.
to help people. So the very first
Yeah.
one that I pull up is a guy, and this is just pages and pages and pages of people saying this. And this guy says, all the beautiful girls live in SoCal, and that's why I'm not moving to Dallas. He's wrong. That's not true. I probably wouldn't reach out to him. Very next one, and you can go back and look this up. The guy, his handle is at Ham Sudson, and he puts, so it's official. I'm moving to Dallas, Texas to live with my wife, Lindsay, starting a new job in Dallas in June.
Wow.
So I don't know, and I'm betting this guy probably doesn't own a property yet,
Yep.
that if his wife is in Dallas and he's not in Dallas, that she probably doesn't know the layout or anything yet. If I was a realtor, I would probably friend this person.
Yes.
I would let them know, if I was Dr. Hank, that I've lived in Dallas for over 30 years. It's one of the greatest cities that you've ever been to. If you need any help, let me know. If I can get you any maps, if I can give you any places to eat, anything like that, let me know. I'm glad you're moving to Dallas. This guy probably doesn't have a realtor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Second one, can't make it to one of your tryout sessions. I'm moving to Dallas this summer. Please let me know if you know a realtor to refer me to.
Well, there you go.
Third one, moving back to Dallas today for the first time in 7 years.
Oh my God.
And it's page after page after page of
Wow.
people who said that. Now, you don't have to just use that search term. You can use any search term. So one thing that people do on Twitter is they ask questions and they look for advice. So I would search things like, can anyone recommend a good realtor? And it will give you everybody who's asked for that. I would search just realtor and find out.
Right.
There are things in here that you can do and that you can bridge that gap and start helping people immediately. And that's what our job is. Our job is to help people.
Yeah, yeah, that is just fantastic. You know, Johnny, I know people are going to want to have you and maybe have you even travel to see them, whatever. And again, I know all that coordinating. What's the best way to get a hold of you in order to do that, or how would you like to have people get a hold of you?
There's two ways.
Okay.
Anybody at any time can ever call my cell phone. I advertise it nationally, and it's out there for the world. It's 281-352-7307. Or right here at my mortgage company, that's probably the second easiest way to get a hold of me, is my first initial is J. My last name is Fowler, Fowler, J Fowler, at Hancock, HANCOCKMORTGAGE.com. J Fowler at HancockMortgage.com.
Fantastic. You know, one last subject before we leave, that you're just so full of information. We could be here all day, but you're just an expert at converting these leads into, in fact, you get about 1 out of 5 leads end up being a closing, which is just, you know, most lead programs are 1 out of 100. And so you're just phenomenal on it. How do you convert them? Can you just give us a minute or two on some really great processes that you use in order to convert that lead into a client?
Yeah, there's a couple things. I can give you a couple tips real quick. I use statistics for almost everything that I do, and I build my systems around those statistics. So I think the last time I looked, AT&T said that 92% of all phone calls go unanswered. But they also said 99% of all text messages are seen. So I use that statistic, and that lets me know, and you and I do the same thing. If we're sitting at a symposium, if we're sitting at a trade show, anything like that, and we're helping people, and we get a phone number that we don't recognize, most people roll their eyes, they put their phone down, and they don't pay attention. But come hell or high water, if they're driving 90 miles an hour down the freeway and they get a text message, the first thing they do is try and read that text message. So I text people. That's one of the number one things.
Oh, okay.
Number two, MIT put out a study about 3 years ago. And one of the things in this study that I read that I paid more attention to than anything else is they said, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was in the high 80%, 83, 85%, something like that, of all sales are made between the 8th and 12th contact.
Yes.
Most people give up on the first or second. And by
Right.
the third, people get an attitude. Well, if he's not going to call me back, or if he's not going to return my text, or if I can't make this easy sale on the first contact for some reason, then I'm going to give up. I'm going to go to the next one, or I'm going to wait.
Sure.
So it's using those things. We use a number of things. We use a 3-3-3 method. We get a hold of people 9 times at a time. And it's truly knowing how humans want to interact.
Yeah.
And it's following those procedures and working with those procedures. And it does really well for us. On some of our programs, we're getting about a 20% conversion. It just kind of depends.
Right, right. And basically you're saying, like, when you do get that lead and that you call them every day, you call them, you text them, and you email them. Is that accurate?
That's exactly what it is. It's exactly how I do it. And then I also throw in little things. I try and be funny. If they haven't responded to me on the second or third text message, throw in a little Tom Cruise. Help me help you. And ask them questions that you want to know. You as a real estate agent, there are questions that you want to know that you will get answers to if you just ask them. Don't say, hey, I want to go show houses this weekend. Ask them, do you need 3 bedrooms or 4 bedrooms, larger or smaller, 2,500 square foot, larger or smaller? Do you need a 2-story or a 1-story? What is it you're looking for? And then pay attention to what they're saying and give them exactly what they want. If they tell you they want a 1-story ranch with 4 bedrooms, 2,500 square foot, don't you dare send them pictures of a colonial in your IDX feed. That's not what they want.
That's fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Johnny Fowler. He is the king of Facebook, just the most wonderful man serving all of us. And Johnny, I want to thank you today for joining us. That this is Agent Wealth Network. And this was really a time for us to be able to help agents and brokers increase their business and their wealth because of you, Johnny. Thank you so much.
Anytime, Dr. Hank. I appreciate you so much.
Okay, take care. All the best. Bye-bye.